Yo, what's going on? Welcome to my frickin' Who I Am. Who am I? My name is Chase Yoder. What is my background? What does it look like? I've never really shared with you guys like my whole journey from start to end until now, where I started to where I am today. And I figure, you know what? I'm gonna make a YouTube video on it today and just kind of connect with you guys and let you know my background, where I'm at right now, where I started and where I'm going, what my vision is and what I'm going through like currently and how I've got to here. So without further ado, a long time ago in a distant land far, far away. I'm just playing. So basically, I started my whole fitness journey at 14 and a half years old. I was in my mom's house working at Der Dutchman, which is an Amish restaurant. My last name's Yoder, so it was only fitting. Not really, but anyway, my stepdad worked there, so I was like, let me get a job. I'm 14 and a half. They're hiring at 14 and a half. Why not? And I got in the dish room. I started doing dishes, working in there with my stepdad. I'd go anytime that he worked and I didn't have school. And that was kind of that's how I started making money, you know, to be able to afford different things. I knew that this world ran on money. You have to have money to do stuff. So why not just start working now? And I was in football a little bit, 6th and 7th grade year. But ultimately I just stopped that. I didn't really have a solid foundation in football. I didn't give it everything I had. So I didn't really see a future with it. So I just cut that out and just started working. And right at that time, I was a twig. I was 140 pounds at 6'2". And I knew that if I wanted to actually have some size and want people to respect me, I had to look the part first. And so I started doing push-ups and sit-ups in my mom's living room. And, you know, that's where the whole journey began. I was so skinny. And let me backtrack a little bit. So I got that skinny because in 6th grade, I tried to do 3 push-ups. And we were in gym class. Me and all the other students, we were trying to see how many push-ups we could do in 60 seconds. And I could only get 3, which was absolutely pathetic because I looked to my right and I saw this kid, he was repping out 25, 30, 35 push-ups in one go. And I'm like, how the frick is he doing that? And I'm not. And at the time I was a little bit chubbier. I couldn't tell you my weight. I never stepped on the scale, but I had a little bit of chubby cheeks. But I knew that if I wanted to do as many pushes as him, I couldn't be fat. So from that point on, I stopped eating so much. Like I literally cut my calories to almost nothing. And that's why I grew taller and just grew thinner and thinner all the way to 140 pounds. And I was skinny fat. It was not a good look. So from there, then we jumped back into, I started doing push-ups and sit-ups. And that was the whole lifting experience. And I did that until I was about 15 and a half, 16 years old. Not really knowing what to eat. I knew I had to eat more because eating nothing wasn't going to cut it anymore, especially if I wanted muscles. And so whenever I was 16, that's whenever I started lifting in the gym. First time I ever went to the gym, I still lift at that gym today it's called Kinetics. Me and my boy, we went there. We walked from his house. I stayed the night at his house and did my first ever workout in the gym. Full body workout. We killed everything for like 3 hours. And then we barely walked home because we killed it so hard. That was crazy. Shout out to my boy Keegan, because that was a great time, man. That was awesome. We still catch up to this day sometimes. But yeah. And I just stayed consistent. Week after week, I would at least hit 3 to 4 to 5 times week after week. It wasn't anything perfect. I just knew that progressive overload was important. So I knew I had to be getting stronger every single time I walked in the gym. And I just did a whole bunch of volume work. I was eating like dog shit. I didn't understand nutrition at all for the first 3 years of my lifting journey. I followed the fitness advice, eat big to get big, and honestly just got me the fattest I had ever been. Yes, okay, I gained size during that time. Like I was gaining muscle. I was the strongest, but I was just fat. And, you know, mentally from being that heavy, being 240 pounds at 6'2", gaining 100 pounds from whenever I started, it was, I arguably believe I was in a worse mental spot than when I started, because getting that big and just my face having all that extra fat on there, and then also I don't know what was going on with the beard and the hair. Like, I just let that get out of control a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I think my thought process was, okay, I don't really know how to eat, so I'm just gonna eat everything and get as big as possible and just get ugly as possible, because why not? I'm using the excuse of not knowing how to actually eat as a reason to just get as ugly as possible and show you guys what's possible. I knew there was a way to cut it off. I didn't really know what that looked like. And I was just using my ignorance as an excuse to get that big and that ugly in a sense. But the moment that I actually started tracking my calories and tracking the food I'm eating every single day, that's whenever my physique actually changed, because I started actually consciously making an effort to get the amount of protein I needed instead of just grabbing 3 or 4 shakes a day or chocolate milk or something like that. You know, I started actually calculating how many carbs and fats my body needed. And that's whenever my physique actually changed. And I'll never look back after that point. So, I mean, to encourage you, if you're listening and you're wanting to get big and you're at a spot where you don't really understand nutrition, you don't really know those things, don't let that hold you back, because ultimately all the fat that you gain during your lifting journey, you just have to cut it off later. If I would have understood nutrition right away, if I would have asked somebody in my position, like if I would have asked somebody that already knew what to do because they've already done it and they've showcased that and they have proven results, if I would have just asked them right away, it would have saved me 3 years in the gym and I never would have got that fat. You know, I would have only gained lean muscle instead of all the extra body fat that I just had to cut off later. You know, ultimately, I mean, being that heavy, it taught me a lot. Like, the amount of stress that you just live in every single day because you look in the mirror and you're not happy with the physique you have. I experienced that. And like, literally at 240 pounds, I was the most depressed I'd ever been, because I looked in the mirror and I just wasn't happy about it. And I just kept blaming it on, okay, I really don't know how to eat, so I'm just going to eat the most I possibly can. Which was the worst decision I ever made. But you know, ultimately this year, so actually this past December, 6 months ago, I started calculating all my food and I started weighing everything out, which honestly doesn't take that much time. Everybody thinks it takes all this time and it's gonna hold you back from other things. Really, it's the same thing. Like imagine this is a plate and then I put my food on it. Okay, now if you want to track the food, just put a scale underneath the plate and then put your food on it. Did it really take that much extra time? And people say, oh, it's going to take time to punch it in your phone and track it. Yes, but like literally seconds out of your day. It takes no extra time and you get so much more results from it and from doing it. Another really big thing that like changed me and who I am today is my standards. You know, ultimately when I first started, I didn't really have standards for like the first 3 years. Now, whenever my physique looks the best, the biggest, and I'm the strongest I've ever been, is I have standards in place. Okay, one of those standards being I get 15,000 steps a day, minimum. Now for you, that might look a little different. You might only do 8K or 10K steps if you have a physical job. If you sit at a desk all day, 8K minimum. Because if you go any lower than 8K, I mean, your metabolism just really isn't firing at that point. You know, if you sit all day, you're not doing much, metabolism slows so far down because you're just not active at all. And it makes it to where you can't even really eat that much. And food is the number one. Like, people view food as an enemy, but in reality, food is not the enemy. It's a tool to take you from where you are now to get you to where you need to go. Another standard of mine is I always track my food. Like, everything that goes in my mouth, I'm tracking it, because what's not tracked can't be managed, and you will fall short of wherever you want to be. And that could be fitness wise, that could be in life, could be business wise, it could be whatever it is across the board. If you don't track it, you don't know what you're really doing, and you don't know where you're going to end up at the end. I mean, another one that's kind of baked into me at this point, but isn't necessarily for everybody else, is a non-negotiable is training 5 days a week. I train 5 days a week, so I do upper, lower, push-pull legs, and then I have 2 rest days. Take a rest in between the upper, lower, and the push-pull legs, and then a rest day after that. For other people, they don't really see the point in it. They don't see the benefit. But for me, myself, it has completely changed my life. And that's ultimately why I coach today. Is because when I first started my journey at 140 pounds, I didn't respect myself, and other people didn't respect me either. And then whenever I got all the way up to 240 pounds, people sure as hell didn't respect me then either, because I was fat as hell. I looked in the mirror and I was, oh my gosh, I can't believe I let myself get that way. But ultimately, I got out of my own way, and I asked somebody for help that had already done what I was trying to do. When you understand that you are the only thing holding you back from achieving what you want in life, you can step out of your own way and ask somebody for help. You know, as men, we don't like to ask for help, because we're going to do things our own way, and we're going to put everything on ourselves, because that's how we operate. But we could get so much further along in life if we would just learn to actually ask for help whenever we need it. I used my ignorance for so long on nutrition, but once I finally understood it, because I asked for help, that's whenever I got the physique I was really looking for. And now that I know how to eat, I want everybody to experience this. A lot of times whenever I take new guys on, they're like, I've never eaten this much food. How am I losing weight? And it's because they don't understand the power of whole foods and how to actually eat. And they've always eaten fast food or whatever the easiest option is. Which, truthfully, you don't need to spend all Sunday meal prepping. If you just cook a little bit and have it in the fridge for you can pull from during the week. Like, it takes me maybe 20 minutes in the morning to get all my meals ready for the day because I have it pre-cooked in the fridge. And then when you run out, just cook a little bit more, and it takes maybe 15 minutes. It's so simple, but people just don't know how to do it, and their brain makes it more complicated than what it really is, because they just need to learn it. But once they learn it, it's so simple. But I mean, to round it back off, that's why I coach today, is because the gym has completely changed my life, and I want others to experience that. Now, a great example of this is my client, Mason. He's actually lost 73 pounds in 4 months working with me, just because he works hard. He just didn't know what to work hard at. And the moment that I actually gave him a blueprint and on how to actually achieve the physique he was looking for, he executed perfectly, and he lost 73 pounds in 4 months. That's the type of blessing that I'm fortunate enough to do. You know, I'm actually building my dream instead of somebody else's. When I was working a 9 to 5, you know, I was actually working 2 of them. I was working 6 to 4:30 at my factory job, and then I would get off there, start at 5, and work until 9 or 10 at Dairy Queen fast food. Oh my gosh, I was grinding. I was working like 90 hours a week, only hitting the gym 1 time a week, full body lift. Me, who I am, I work hard, but I didn't know what things to work hard at, and that's why my physique didn't reflect it. But once I understood by asking help, reaching out to somebody that had already done what I was trying to do, completely changed my world. So ultimately, I want other guys to experience that. Other guys that are working hard. You work hard, you just have to know what to work hard at, and your physique will change. And when your physique changes, other people see that, and they look at you differently. They respect you differently. It changes who surrounds you, changes your environment, and then it changes your trajectory in life. Because if you're fat and the people around you are fat and they don't say anything to you because they live fat every single day, it's going to keep you in this little bubble. But whenever you want more, you know there's more to life. You're a man. We all experience that. There's always more to life. We always have to have a goal, keep reaching, keep working towards. And you start to lose the weight and you start to build muscle, the people around you are going to be like, why are you changing? And then new people are going to come around and they're going to look at the physique and they're going to say, man, I actually respect this guy because I see how hard he works on himself. He must got something going for him. I mean, ultimately, the people around you, they shape you and they determine where your life goes. You show me your friends and I'll show you your future. That saying is so true. If you have the wrong individuals surrounding you, you won't end up in life where you need to be going. All right, guys, if you made it this far in the video, thank you. I appreciate you. And honestly, this was a bit of a yap session, but I just had a few things on my heart I had to get out there for you guys. This is kind of my journey. You know, this is where I'm at right now. So I'm coaching guys, trying to change their lives literally for a living. I'm building my dream instead of somebody else's. To bring it back to the factory, so I was working those jobs and I looked around and I saw people in the same position for 10, 15, 20 years. And I knew that I didn't want to be in that same position. There's more to life than just this. I'm building somebody else's dream, not mine. And ultimately, fitness has completely changed my life, so why can't I do that for other people? And that's why I started this business 6 months ago and never looked back. It's been a blessing, and it's really let me know like who I am as an individual. Because 4 months in, I thought about, oh, I'm just going to go back to a job. This is hard. But that's what business is. Business is a series of problems. And the faster you learn to get over those problems is the faster that you actually progress and you get to the next stage. But ultimately, all the problems in business come down to you. How good are you? Are you able to get over those problems and move to the next stage? And if not, you're going to stay spinning your wheels in the same position, you know? So, but yeah, this is kind of a yap, but if you guys found value in this, you know, leave a like, drop a comment down below what I should talk about next. Thank you guys for your support. It means the world to me, seriously. I was streaming on TikTok today. I think I'm going to continue doing that just to get connected with you guys. And then Instagram. Link is in bio. I'm really trying to grow that platform, and so far we're making really good progress. So I appreciate you guys. If you are struggling with your fitness journey and you don't know what else you should be doing, you work hard, but your body doesn't show it. That's exactly who I was. That was me, bro. Reach out to me. Let's have a free conversation. So in my Instagram bio, there's a link. You can click it, schedule a free call with me. I'd be happy to go over your situation and what you should do moving forward, what I would do. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks again, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Peace.